So talk to us about the challenges. You've been doing this for 7 years now. I imagine that being an unpopular, sector, you must have faced some challenges.
Oh, absolutely.
How were you able to overcome them?
I think one of the first challenges that I faced was lack of data. There was no data at all, whether or not in any part of the value chain. I couldn't research anybody doing what I wanted to do. So we literally started from the scratch up. Whatever data we have as a company today was something that we built from the scratch up. Obviously also gives you opportunity to innovate, because necessity,
as a pace setter.
Yes, necessity is also the mother of all invention. So I think that was what he did. And even up till now, a lot of people think the founder of the business is a man, because they're like, how can a woman be doing all this?
Patriarchy.
How can a woman be doing all this heavy lifting in an industry that is not popular? And the truth is, when I got into the business, I didn't think I was the only one. I didn't think we're very few entrepreneurs doing it. So that created...
Because there was no data.
There was no data. So it was later I found out that, oh wow, we're the only ones trying to create the solution that we're doing. But most importantly for me, the challenge also is, one, there's a policy gap. And when there's a policy gap, then there is no signal to the private sector to support that industry. So for example, see what happened with maize, rice, and the rest of them. Immediately there's a policy in place on cassava to whether, improve local production. What happens is the private sector begins to fund it, ensure they create things around. So that hasn't happened with coffee. So a lot of times what we built with our companies, just in being innovative about it, whatever resources that we have, we just power back all of our revenue back into the business to create what we've done today. So those are the challenges. Obviously, financing, it's a major challenge across the continent in Nigeria for female founders.
So who are your target markets? So I know that there are a lot of myths attached to coffee. For instance, I grew up believing that when you take coffee, you would be wide awake, you won't be able to sleep because of the caffeine and all of that. How have you been able to penetrate and change these myths and let people understand the benefit of coffee?
I like that question because myths are popular everywhere with any product and service. So it wasn't even a deterrent for me. I knew that the only thing that needed to be done is an educational gap. When there's a lot of unbelief, what you do is go about educating people. So that's what we did. Even as a young startup, we concern ourselves with education. It's very critical, and you don't stop learning. So we went about educating. First, a lot of people didn't even know Nigeria grew coffee. So out of the door, we were telling people, did you know that Nigeria grows coffee? Secondly, we understand the type of coffee nation that we are. Nigeria is majorly an instant coffee nation.
How do you mean?
So we only drink instant coffee. Most of the coffee you see is instant. And instant coffee is highly processed. So that means that the caffeine content is highly concentrated also.
Oh.
There's caffeine in everything. In tea, it's just a matter of moderation, understanding how your body works. Some of us, like myself, drink coffee before I go to bed. So
and you get a good sleep.
And the sleep is even more relaxed.
Wow.
So it depends on quantity. It depends on... The only difference is that in Nigeria, we're more of a white palate country, meaning that Nigerians like their coffee sweet, with a lot of sugar and milk, which is also good. But however, you also know those also impact your health. So it's a combination of everything. But so for me, it's an issue of moderation. Be moderate at it. And secondly, we only use freshly brewed coffee. So our coffee is still in its best state.
So where do you get your raw?
Oh, we source all of our coffee from Taraba at the moment.
Okay.
So we go from Taraba, talk to farmers, we bring to Lagos, we roast it, and then you can
So it means when you start your farm, when it's in full operation, you wouldn't need to go to Taraba anymore.
We will need to go to Taraba. We will need to take coffee from all over Nigeria. We will need to take coffee from all over Ghana, Ethiopia. Because the beautiful thing about coffee is you can take coffee from Lagos and blend with coffee from Benue and create a kind of taste, a palette.
So they have different flavors.
Different notes, different, because coffee takes its taste from the soil and the roasting. So you're able to blend different types of coffee and create amazing products from it.
So you've not told us your target market.
So our target market falls between the ages of, we have coffee drinkers between the ages of 18 and 45. Okay. So that's the happy coffee target market. People who are socially involved, they have access to the internet, they can read out. So if we send you something, you can read about it. So that's our target
So
market.
you were talking to me earlier before the show started about how coffee reduces death risk. Talk to us more about that.
Because coffee in itself has, coffee in its natural state, before it's highly processed, has a lot of nutrients in it. A lot of people don't realize that as you grow older or younger, as it may seem, I'm not a medical expert, but from studies that have been posted, there's a lot of nutrients around it that support growth. It also supports bowel movement, which some people might naturally have issues with. And we know that once you have poor bowel movement, then you're going to have issues with your body. Coffee supports movement of the bowel, especially in the morning. So you're able to remove some toxins from your body. I know people call us, oh, can coffee lose weight? The truth is, everything is in moderation. But I know that when you drink coffee, especially early in the morning, your bowel movement is more frequent. And that means you're able to remove toxins from your body. And then, you know, just generally live your life. For
healthy living.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about how this industry, how lucrative is this business?
If you look at the global market, coffee is the most liquidated company. The most liquidated company in the world is a coffee business. Starbucks is one of the richest in terms of liquidation. If you look at Africa, currently we are at almost $1 billion market in terms of coffee. Look at the brands that support coffee globally, and look at the brands that support coffee. Like I was telling you when we were talking, that there are brands that are still in business till today, because study shows that every single day 40 million Nigerians wake up to drink a semblance of coffee.
A semblance of coffee.
So imagine the numbers, imagine the coming generation, imagine the market we're targeting, and then look at it on a global scale. It's huge.
So your customers, how do they tell, how do they differentiate between the adulterated coffee, which you say that we take often in Nigeria, and this one that you're making?
I mean, from the taste, I showed you a message from a customer who said this is the best I've had. Because like I rightly said, I like to liken it to freshly squeezed juice and juice out of a box. If you squeeze your juice, your orange freshly, it tastes a whole world of different than the ones that have been processed and packed.
So talk to us about the process from start, the roasting. I'm more interested in the roasting part, and then to the point where you get to your consumers.
So we source from local farmers and a processor in Taraba. When we get it to Lagos, we have a mini machine that we hand roast the coffee. We know what
you have it right here.
Yeah, right here. We hand roast the coffee. From that, we grind and then begin to create the different products and services. And at Happy Coffee, we like
so there are different products that come eventually out of the coffee.
Absolutely. Even the end product. When we're done with the end product, we have companies that take our waste, use it to create coffee products like soaps, skincare products, coffee oil.
So nothing goes to waste.
Nothing goes to waste.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Even from the farms, nothing goes. Even the shells from the farm doesn't go to waste.
Okay, so how do you get it to your end consumers?
So from our coffee shops, you can order. We have a lot because our target market is also online. We have a lot of orders coming in from Instagram and the rest of the online platforms that we have. Obviously, COVID also impacted how everybody does business or views their business. So we pushing a lot of online and digital marketing so that our customers can either come to our coffee shops, they can order online, get their products and services.
So you use dispatch riders?
Oh yes, we use third-party companies that partner with us to get it out there. Eventually, we're going to be going into departmental stores with the products. We get a lot of calls from the international market to uplift Nigerian coffee in its natural state. But I say no, because we're at the point where we would only ship coffee out of this country when it's processed, we've added value to it. So they can also taste Nigerian coffee.
So there's a prospect for exporting coffee from Nigeria.
We get calls from Russia, Japan, China, everywhere to export Nigerian coffee.
So how soon do you think that would be?
I think it's not a matter of how soon. I think it's a matter of, can we support local distribution first? That's as a company, that's our focus. It's local first. If you look at the biggest brands in the world, they have built a strong home backing first. Our goal is to build a strong home backing, and then we can export.
So being the president of National Association for Coffee and Tea, what are the steps you're taking to ensure that this is not just a locally produced product, we're taking it out of the country and ensuring that it's Nigeria to the world?
First, I was elected first ever last year. It was a big feat for myself. Being
First ever woman, right?
Yes, to be nominated.
Congratulations.
Thank you. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. Like I said, the first part is in the area of policy.
Yes.
We're talking to the government. We've been on the table with them. There is a national policy in the second reading. We're hoping that policy goes through. And because, like I rightly said, everybody has a role to play in the building of the Nigerian coffee value chain. We also, in 2019, started the first ever Lagos Coffee Festival. Our company started that, and it's also to dialogue with people in the value chain on how we can come together and build a viable Nigerian coffee value chain. So for me as a national president, I'm the #1 advocate of coffee, Nigerian coffee.
Apparently.
This, like I tell people, this is all I do 24/7, 7 days a week. I'm thinking of, I get calls from different governments. Rwanda, I sat with the Rwandan government once. I'm sitting with the Ethiopian government. I'm talking to people in South Africa. How can we create these things that will create a sustainable model from our farm to the table to more entrepreneurs creating a lead way for more entrepreneurs to getting into the market. And that's how we can build a sustainable model, not just for Nigeria as a whole, but for Africa.
For Africa, very interesting. And also reducing the level of importation.
Yes.
Because that 90% is huge.
It's preposterous.
Yeah, I look forward to that time where we would cut it down to as low as maybe 20%.
Yeah.
I know it's possible.
It's possible.
Well, I must say a very big thank you to you, Princess Adeyinka Tekena, founder, Happy Coffee Nigeria. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Bolani.
All right, that's it on SME Hub today. I hope you've been educated on the myths and the things you need to understand about coffee. Well, this is where we wrap it up on today's edition of SME Hub. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. My name is Omobolanle Adeshi. Till next time, remember that you can continue the conversation with us on all our socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as YouTube at iBrandTV. Until next time, bye for now.